going? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Awesome. I'm head up in the stand.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
Yep, I'll see you on the radio.
Let's start with the track here at Watkins Glen. Obviously, you have a lot of road racing background.
Yeah.
What's your feeling towards road racing and Sprint Cup series?
It's different. You know, I've run a lot of races here at Watkins Glen in road racing and prototypes and open wheel cars and Porsches and BMWs and Mustangs and all kinds of sports cars. And the racing is very different than it is in NASCAR. In NASCAR, there's a lot more side-by-side through the S's. You know, it used to be in the S's, you got a run and you got somebody, you would get single file real quick because you didn't want to run up side-by-side through the S. So the racing is very different. The principles that make you good at these places are the same though. So it's definitely fun to come to a road course.
Also, you have a couple champ car starts. What was it like to be in an open wheel car as opposed to these things like the champ car starts?
Yeah, it was, for me, my path and my background was open wheel. So when I went and did sports car racing in 2005 and 2006, I kind of felt like maybe that path was over. And I was fortunate to get to do a couple races in the Champ Car Series. And at the time, those cars were very cool. Lots of downforce, lots of power, turbos, and no traction control, no power steering. They were very raw. So that was awesome. Very, very thankful to do that just because, you know, for me, just the path that I was on, that was where I always wanted to get to. So it was cool, but very, very different than NASCAR racing. Pure driving, that's the most fun you could ever have driving, is in that Champ car. It's just unbelievable, the power, the braking, adrenaline, all that stuff. I'm sure Formula One is probably the next step to that, but the racing in NASCAR is so intense that, and it's challenging. It's super challenging. So they're both very different, but respect them both.
You consider an IndyCar ride?
I would, and I the thought has crossed my mind of late of trying to do the 500 at some point. Something I always dreamed of doing, and not that I'm running out of time, but you know, every year it feels like, you know, you're running out of time. So I'd like to do it.
Obviously, your big opportunities in NASCAR came with Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series. What's it like to get that phone call and then have that experience of being behind the wheel of such a fast car at different types of racetracks?
Yeah, for sure. It was a big break for me. You know, kind of a funny short story. You know, I was racing in the Sprint Cup Series, but I was starting parking for underfunded teams. It wasn't even running all the races. I actually got fired from the 46 car that same day that I got a call from Joe Gibbs to drive the Nationwide car. And it was a little bit surreal because, you know, I never thought that I'd even be on the radar screen at Joe Gibbs Racing, you know, let alone jump in, you know, a car that has won so many races. And I've had some good runs, and we had a lot of good runs. And, you know, I think I ended up with 3 second-place finishes and been so close so many times to getting a win. But that really kept me in the sport. I mean, it took me from being a guy that was just sort of here to being able to show my ability and as a contender, and that helped me keep jobs in the Sprint Cup Series as well. So I'm very thankful that, you know, Joe Gibbs and everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing for giving me that shot.
Obviously, you have a lot of Christian faith. How has that guided you through racing?
Yeah, it's, you know, especially the last 5 to 6 years, it's really been not just an experience, but a journey where when I first started racing, it was all about me, and that's all I cared about, and just getting to the next level, winning races and whatever I could do to do that. And my competitive drive hasn't changed, but just where I put my value and where I put, you know, where I feel life is important versus what I used to think is important. So, and the biggest thing is just, for me, is just realizing that all these abilities and all these opportunities I have are just opportunities that God's given me for a platform to share my faith. And that mindset changes everything you do.
Yeah. I believe you asked by Blake Cook one time after your Texas crash how that crash changed you spiritually, and you said the thing that you lacked before the wreck was the willingness to share your faith.
Yeah.
You got a big national media tour after that accident, and you said that was kind of a hidden blessing that kind of helped you speak in front of people and really share your faith more.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, from that crash, it was obviously spectacular and crazy when I walked away, and when I actually saw it on TV for the first time, I was like, oh wow, it was really bad. I was in there, I knew it was bad, but and then just see all the reactions of people's faces and stuff, and just kind of a little bit of terror and panic, and I realized that for me, like, the next day I went from this rookie nobody knew to being on this national media tour, and everybody knew who I was, and I really felt like that I needed to share my faith in that, and that really gave me, like you said, the confidence and ability to do that. And just knowing that each day is a gift, and that God completely spared me from that accident. And so for me to talk about how tough or heroic or whatever, all those things really didn't make sense to me. Just wanted to share the fact that it was miraculous, and God allowed me to do it, and has given me this opportunity to share my faith.
You comment on like the motor racing outreach. I've talked to Blake Cook and Eric before. They're big fans of it. It's like their church almost.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. Now that I'm on a part-time schedule, I can be more involved in my local church, which is nice. But for a long time, MRO was the only church service we have. So very thankful for the leadership there, and not just the chapel services, but just the discipleship and the Bible studies and small groups, and they serve the community really well. It's something I'm very thankful for.
Do you appreciate the prayer they do before each race?
I do. I think it's great. I mean, I think that it's great that NASCAR continues and allows it. I think that our fans and our people that are at the racetrack embrace it, and I feel like there's so many things that are in our world right now in society that are trying to push God out, and so I feel like just that one reconnection that NASCAR continues to have is really good.
Kind of recap how this year has shaped your organization into a stronger team. You missed a couple races due to rainouts, and also you had the big fire early in the year.
Yeah.
It's been a really, really tough year for your team. You really, kind of recap how that's made your team stronger and come together more?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fire was definitely devastating. We lost cars and tools, and we had to move out for almost 2 months, 3 months, and now we're still rebuilding. We're back in our shop, and but there's still a lot of fire damage in the back half, and that actually has to be demolished, and we have to build the back half of the shop. So even though we're back in the shop, we're not at full capacity yet. So and then with the rainouts and things like that, I mean, obviously very tough, and tougher partners in our team, and and it can definitely bring you down a little bit, but at the same time you can use it as an opportunity, and I feel like our team has to really hunker down and strengthen our team, and there's always going to be challenges. It doesn't matter what it is. Every team goes through different challenges. Ours were just a lot at once, and we'll definitely be stronger for it.
Obviously, your first top 10 came in the Daytona 500 a couple years ago. You talk about doing the Indy 500, and but you did the Daytona 500. You got your best career finish that day, 2015.
Yeah, that was fun. The hard part about the 500 is making it. I've never been in a position where I've been locked in, and I've always had to qualify into the race. So that year, qualifying into the race was huge, and then to run and get a top 10 finish, it was awesome. And then followed it up the following year in the 95 at the 4th of July race, and got another top 10. And those are opportunity races where we can squeeze one in there. And I've definitely over the years have learned to really love the late races, and I feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm pretty good at them, so I feel good about that.
You are. One personal great quote that I like is from Martinsville 2011. You said, "I'm not going to take it. I get one race a year. I'm going to make it count."
Yeah.
To me, that kind of recap just how all the starting part teams feel. Some of them only get that one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing is, everybody in those years that was starting parking wanted the race. They just didn't have the sponsorship to do it. And we would pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 races a year where we were going to run those races, and Martinsville was always one of those races we circled. And so, when you go into it knowing that you only have 1 or 2 shots a year, you want to get everything you can and make them count. And you just, it's especially at a place like that, you can get run over so easy. So you gotta stay in your ground.
And finally, who are your favorite drivers growing up?
Growing up, my favorite drivers were Michael Schumacher, because just an open wheel and just the success he had with all the different teams that he ran in. I always admired that. Grew up an Andretti fan, Mario fan, Michael fan. So I remember watching all the IndyCar races and always pulled for them. So I think it was because my neighbor was an Unser fan, so there was always that rivalry. So I wanted to go against them, but those were the guys that I watched growing up. And, I didn't watch a lot of NASCAR, and it wasn't until maybe 2003 and 4 when I started to actually follow it. So.
Did you ever meet the Andrettis?
I have, yeah. I worked with Marco. He drove for the same team that I did in Star Mazda after I'd won the championship. He drove the following year. And so Mario would come through the tests and things like that, and so I spent some time with him.
Hey man, Mike, I really appreciate your time. You're a great guy.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.